If you've ever experienced food poisoning, one thing I know for sure is that you do not want food poisoning again. A lot of these food poisoning situations come from just mishandling food prep situations. In most cases, that food preparer is you. First thing we want to understand is that we really want to wash our produce. A lot of these vegetables and such will have fertilizers used on them where the fertilizer has fecal matter that was not purified. So we really need to wash that out because it doesn't belong in our stomach. That's not where it should be going. It should be in the ground feeding these vegetables, not feeding us. So don't have a goal of being a good host to these microorganisms. You really got to wash your hands with soap and water. But the most problematic thing that we need to look at is we're looking at raw meat. Most of us have enough sense not to take a raw chicken breast and lick it. We're probably not going to do that. We probably know that there's bacteria on there that we don't want going into our body. But what a lot of people don't understand is that they'll pick up this raw meat and then they'll cook it, and then maybe they'll just dry their hands off on a towel and then go about preparing their other food. Well, that bacteria is still on your hands. You wouldn't lick the food, so you wouldn't want to touch it with your hand and then touch other things that are going to be eaten or other things that are going to prepare the things that you're going to eat. We really have to use some common sense to kind of follow the path of how these microorganisms get into our body. That's what they're trying to do. So don't have a goal of being a good host to these microorganisms. You don't want to be a good host. You want to keep them out. So what we want to do is after we touch raw meat, you really got to wash your hands with soap and water. The next step we want to take is to think about that pathway that raw meat is taking. You don't want to carry raw meat out to the barbecue on a platter and then cook the meat and then take that meat and put it back on the same platter where all those microorganisms are sitting there in a bath saying, yay, hey, here comes the ride. We'll just hop on there and get right into the host now. So you got to think about what you're doing and make sure that raw meat is not touching something that you're going to eat from, or maybe even the same utensil that you're using to put the raw meat on the barbecue. Just kind of think about that pathway and understand how those microorganisms are getting into your body, and then it's really easy to avoid those steps.